Thank you, Makran, for inviting me and the center and for your kind words. Um, I'd like to begin with the impact of Sri Aurobindo. What Sri Aurobindo means to us, what Sri Aurobindo means to me. I think one of the things about Sri Aurobindo that is not spoken of enough or very often, especially in conferences, is his personality. Sri Aurobindo, his impact as a person, his beautiful personality, his sweetness, his vastness of consciousness, his sublime beauty, the presence of Sri Aurobindo. That, in the end, what happens is you read, but what the reading helps you to do is to get in touch with him. And I think he is what helps one to get in touch with that vast consciousness that makes you feel as though that whatever you are and whatever is around you is transitory and will change. The great hope that Sri Aurobindo presents. Personally, for me, when I started my journey as a young student at the Lady Shri Ram College, um, I was just completing my third year, and I was looking for meaning in my life. You know, I had become, I'd done mostly what most young people were supposed to do, and I thought I'd achieved a lot, and yet I felt very empty within. And this emptiness used to bother me, and I used to feel, why am I feeling so empty? What is it that I'm missing? And this feeling of emptiness led me to search for meaning. And I came upon Sri Aurobindo Ashram, Mirambika, as Makarand mentioned, the writings of Sri Aurobindo, and the words of the mother. Mother actually is what really touched my heart and brought me closer. And I remember that my first contact with Sri Aurobindo was when I was 24 years old. And I had just finished, I was teaching actually I'd done 1 year of teaching in Mirambika already. And I wanted a guru. I felt very much that I needed a physical teacher. How was a young person like me going to understand how to do yoga, how to change myself, how to gain knowledge, how to become a full person, a complete person without a teacher? And something inside me, because of some experiences, um, made me want to pray to Sri Aurobindo for that teacher. And I started praying to Sri Aurobindo, saying that you have to find my physical guru, my physical teacher, not me. Because the one I found turned out to be an imposter. So this time I'm going to only rely on you. And I think it was my deep aspiration, reading of Savitri, intense meditations during that time, that brought me in touch with him. He came, I had a vision, a dream of him. And that's when he started reading. He asked me in the dream, I won't go into the details, I just mentioned this one part. It was a very long experience, but he just asked me one question after the end of the whatever he had to tell me. He says, would you like me to read the Gita? Would you like me to read the Gita, or would you like me to read Savitri? So I told him, I said, I would like you to read Savitri. And he started reading Savitri to me. And his voice, I think it was so soft and so beautiful. His presence was so quiet and so much like I cannot even describe to you what that feeling did. I can't forget those words even today. I've never heard such a beautiful, soft, English accented yet sublime voice. And then he pointed to me, my teacher. I I think I won't say the name, but I think Makarand has mentioned the name to you. So that brought me to the whole journey of my tryst with Sri Aurobindo, as I call it. But let me tell you about this is not just the personal journey. I think a lot of us, in fact, all those who have come to Sri Aurobindo have had similar experiences. And these words that he says that he who chooses the infinite has been chosen by the infinite cannot be more true. We do not choose who we go to. It is He who chooses us. And our souls are bound together. Um, and a lot of us have spoken in the seminar about the psychic being, the supramental um, transformation, about various things, the Renaissance of India, the five dreams of Sri Aurobindo, so much. But at the core of it, if one doesn't have that touch in the heart, and the psychic is not touched by the divine presence, then it becomes just a play of ideas. And for that, the most important thing is not ideas. Ideas can help you to reach there. But that is not the way. The way is love and aspiration. These are the two ways to reach the divine. And when you reach the divine, then you want to transform yourself because you see the possibility of what he is and they are. And that helps you to overcome your own weaknesses. That helps you to gain faith when all around you is the opposite of what you are reading and what you're aspiring for and what you feel in your heart. So there are three things of Sri Aurobindo that have been my mantras. And I think they're mantras for a lot of us who are on the path. One is his supreme mantric words. A vast surrender was his only strength. At every moment when we're faced with something that is beyond our comprehension and our ability to solve, I think this is the one mantra of Sri Aurobindo that can come to our aid. A vast surrender was his only strength. And it is Sri Aurobindo himself who shows us through his life, through his work, and through his, the whole political life that he went through, the kind of decisions he took, how he followed his inner voice, despite everything around him, and continued in his yoga, continued in his political went to Alipur jail and asked and said, I will not speak. Everyone said, but you're going to be hanged. You're going to die. He said, no, I have an Adesh within me that C.R. Das will speak for me. He will represent whatever I have to say, he will say it. And then his experiences of seeing Sri Krishna all around when he walked into the jail. I think at every moment of his life, he practiced this, a vast surrender. And that's why he could write this in Savitri. A vast surrender was his only strength. And I think this is one of the things that we can learn from his life. His outer life is not is more meaningful when you understand how he became like that. What are the things that helped him to do and to become like that? The second mantra that I found for myself is all can be done if the God touch is there. And I remember when we created the Gnostic Centre together, Anuradha, Ritika, and myself. It was against a lot of odds. I had agnostic parents, so and I had people around me who were opposing the whole idea of establishing the center. I remember that my father said that he'd given me this piece of land to make my house on. And he said, once he found we were making the Gnostic Centre, it was the Sri Aurobindo Centre, he said, I will bring a bulldozer and I will destroy everything you've created. So we had a battle royale on that, but not an outer battle. It was an inner battle. I never said anything on the to him. I just kept quiet. And we inscribed as the foundation stone of the Gnostic Centre. And it still is there. All can be done if the God touch is there. The transformation that happened once we created the center. My father, who was opposed to it, every day he would come to it. And he would only tell me one thing. He said, Ameeta, something in my heart opens when I come here. I feel there's a presence here that draws me. I don't understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. But I am deeply moved by the fact that there is something here that's so beautiful. And everything changed from that moment on, which also comes to this experience that I had of all life is yoga. You know, we live in compartments in our lives. We live in a life where we find that this is material, this is spiritual. Business, horse breeding. I am in a race course. I'm in the most difficult profession in the country. I'm the only woman who breeds race horses, and people look at that and says gambling and betting and all of that, and you're involved in that. Oh my God, the moral sense is outraged. But let me tell you something that will surprise all of you. I didn't want to, of course, enter this profession. I wanted to follow Sri Aurobindo's yoga, but when I was in Pondicherry, again, about 25 or 26 years old, I went to Sri Aurobindo's room, and in front of the chair where the mother sits, as you come out of Sri Aurobindo's room and you're going down to the staircase, I was sitting there, I was waiting for Niruddha to come. We have our afternoon session. We were studying, at that point, we were studying the synthesis of yoga. So I was just sitting outside there. He got late, so he didn't arrive. So I was just thinking to myself, what should I do? What should I do? My father's insisting that I should join him in his farm, his stud farm, and I don't want to do it. And I was just thinking about it, and suddenly I heard a voice, I saw the mother. So those who think that you can't see the mother anymore are wrong. You can see her even today. She was sitting in front of me on that chair, and she looked at me and she said, Ameeta, you have to go back. This is not your father's work. This is my work. This is not your father's farm. It is my farm. I have created it. He is only a representative. You go back and do his work. Go back and do my work. He sent me back. She sent me back. And I went, and I had to go back. I couldn't join the ashram, which I wanted to. I went into the horse keeping. I trained myself. I went to Ireland. I went to England. I went to America. And for 3 years, I was in training. Then I joined my father. And you won't believe what happened after that. 8 years after I joined my dad, this is how the divine works. I have no idea why. I was very, very angry, as you can imagine. And this was a test for me because I almost lost my faith. I was angry with Sri Aurobindo. I was angry with the mother. I was angry with everybody. And yet something inside me knew that I was being lifted off the ground. And I knew that something was protecting me and taking me forward. But what I want to bring to you today are these snippets of my experiences, because Makaran said, talk about your experiences. And I said, what do I give in a valedictory address? Because everybody said everything, every idea of Sri Aurobindo has been discussed here. So he said, no, you talk about whatever you want. So I said, all right. And this is what brought me to the third mantra of my life, which is the mantra that Sri Aurobindo has given us, but became so real to me. All life is yoga. There is nothing that cannot be included in your sadhana, whether it's business or it's politics or it's um, being a sweeper in the ashram. I remember there was one sweeper, one man, he was a sadhak, I think, he would sweep the samadhi every day. And I would just keep watching this man because the way he was sweeping, I knew that he was possibly the most elevated of all the people I was watching at that samadhi. And I understood in my heart that even a simple job of cleaning, of sweeping, that you could be a lowly sweeper could bring you to such a great spiritual experience. I don't know if you remember this man. Some of you who have been at the ashram must have seen him. He was there for years and years and years, quiet, just sweeping, sweeping, sweeping all over. And this has taught me more than anything. And I think if young people are listening, this is what you can learn from Sri Aurobindo. That all of life is yoga. It's your attitude that matters. It's the attitude you bring to anything. It's that attitude of self-giving. It's the attitude of giving yourself to something higher, knowing that you're full of imperfections, knowing that your ego is still there, knowing that despite how much you want to change your nature, it takes time, it takes a lifetime, and that in the end, it is the divine that changes you and not you that can change things. And that is the attitude that can help you then to, to meet life, to meet the challenges of life, the joys of life. And I tell you something, the words that success is often more difficult to bear than sorrow. I've also been fortunate or unfortunate enough, I don't know, to have tremendous success in my profession and in whatever I've done. But it really teaches me at each time to how important it is to understand that it is not you. You are just an instrument, and it is to keep the ego away each time and to keep surrendering, keep cleaning up within yourself so that you can become an empty vessel for their force to manifest. I'd like to end with a very favorite poem of mine. This poem really is a poem by Sri Aurobindo. And the reason I'm choosing it is because, you know, it is about this being this quiet, empty vessel and the new light, the mind of light entering, the supramental light entering, and all of the things that he speaks about in The Life Divine, in Savitri, I feel have been, you know, in this very short poem, everything is there. So I'm going to try and say it by heart because I think I know it, but if I miss out a word, don't mind. It's called The Golden Light. Thy golden light came down into my brain, and the grey rooms of mine sun-touched became. A bright reply to wisdom's occult flame, a calm illumination and a flame. Thy golden light came down into my throat, and all my speech is now a tune divine. A paean song to thee, my single note. My words, I think, my words are drunk with the immortal's wine. Thy golden light came down into my heart, smiting my life with thy eternity. Now has it made a temple where thou art, and all my passions point towards only thee. Thy golden light came down into my feet, My earth is now thy playfield and thy seat. Thank you.